Premier Ed Stelmach has laid out a plan with 5 priorities for his new administration. Those 5 priorities are to govern with integrity and transparency, manage growth pressures, improve Albertans' quality of life, build a stronger Alberta, and provide safe and secure communities.
Hi, I'm Ed Stelmach. As a government, we must accomplish our goals in a way that ensures we're accountable to those who have placed their trust in us, Albertans. As public servants, we must conduct ourselves with integrity and openness as we work to accomplish our goals. As I have said many times during the last several months, we do not own the right to govern. We earn it, as you too have earned the right to serve. We need to listen to what Albertans think is truly important. As I toured the province last fall, I got to do just that, listen to Albertans. And I'd like to share with you some of what I heard them say.
I want to know the government hears our concerns.
Yeah, and that it cares about the same things that I do.
And that it has a plan to take us into the future.
It's just as important for all Albertans to know how we operate as opposed to what we do for you as government. Definitely, we have to continually earn the right to govern, to earn your respect and trust and confidence. Openness and transparency of this government is very important to me and to the government as a whole.
It's one thing to talk about accountability, but how do you demonstrate it?
That's a good question, and I will continue to listen to Albertans. That's a promise I made, my commitment, and my wife Marie says that I'm a good listener. Of course, the first letter of business was mandates issued to all ministers to ensure that all Albertans know what the responsibilities are of various ministers and how we'll measure their performance.
I read the other day that in the last 5 years, 500,000 people have moved to Alberta from other parts of Canada. No wonder traffic's getting worse.
And if 500,000 people that moved to Alberta didn't bring their roads or schools or hospitals with them. It's really what I call the price of prosperity. And really the growth pressures are shortage of housing, shortage of infrastructure, and of course a critical labor shortage.
What do you think about using more technology to attract and train people?
A very good idea. In fact, technology is going to play a very major role in educating and training people. If we learn how to adapt it and do more research, we can actually broaden our tax base and commercialize more of it to secure a much better future for our children and grandchildren.
It's great right now for lots of Albertans, but with this kind of growth, some people can fall through the cracks.
My vision for Alberta is to create an economy that supports the quality of life for all Albertans. Education, health, our seniors, our youth, through arts, recreation opportunities, culture, very important. And that's part of my job, is to ensure that the next generation is secure in a good quality of life.
A lot of us are baby boomers. We need to know that the system is ready for us, that what we need will be there and affordable.
It's funny you should ask about baby boomers, because I am the first baby boomer premier of Alberta, and so I do know what you're asking and talking about. Definitely strategic investments in long-term care for our seniors and the generation that will be following are critically important to the quality of life. And you know, we're taking action now before the retirement boom hits us, attracting the world's best physicians and scientists, and of course looking at how to attract new businesses to the province.
What about protecting the environment for our kids and our kids' kids?
As a grandparent, the protection of the environment is very important, and we will continue as a government to move in a very positive direction, including green energy, looking at every other possible way of improving the environment to secure a better environment for the next generation.
Alberta has the energy resources. That means it has the pollution that goes with developing them. What are we doing about that?
We're now going to measure the largest emitters and look at CO2 emissions and work with industry, actually force them to reduce those emissions over a period of time. The other component of it, of course, is all of Albertans as energy consumers. And what can we do individually to reduce the amount of water consumption, for instance, the amount of fuel we consume in our cars, electricity. All of those are very important in terms of finding the balance between industry and individual Albertans.
There's so much government, it's hard to keep who's doing what straight half the time. With all this going on, how do I know my taxes are being spent wisely?
That's why we have to work very closely, cooperate with both levels of government, both federal and municipal. And with respect to municipalities, as a former municipal representative, Reeve, I know the tremendous growth pressures that municipalities are experiencing today, and that's why we have introduced a $1.4 billion fund to offset some of the growth pressures that municipalities are facing.
What are we doing differently with our resources? The oil isn't going to last forever.
You're absolutely right, and that's why we're building a very comprehensive energy strategy, which includes alternative energy sources like biodiesel and ethanol, which will serve twofold purpose. One, will improve, of course, agriculture and the margins in agriculture, but also clean the environment at the same time.
But will we have the skills to lead new industries?
And the education and training to back it up.
You know, as a parent of four, I know the cost of post-secondary education, especially when children have to leave a smaller community to a larger community and access education. And that's where technology is going to be so important to not only improve access, but it will also reduce the cost, make it more affordable for all Albertans.
With our population exploding, communities are feeling the pressure. Frustrations grow as lineups grow.
I want to ensure that all Albertans feel safe, whether it's our children going to school or our loved ones going to work. And we will continue, of course, to focus on family. We'll continue all of the activities related to family violence prevention activities, look at the bullying issues in our schools, and further take it down to safety on our roads and our highways.
With the added traffic and congestion, I'm worried that we're going to see an increase in accidents.
This is an area that is very costly to Alberta, and it's just not in dollars and cents, but it's the number of people in emergency rooms, increasing waiting times, of course, significant injuries, months in a hospital, and of course, loss of life. Very tragic. It's something that you know, we experienced in my family. So I think in this whole area of safe communities, together, we can do great things.
You've been traveling a lot since you became Premier.
Yes, I have, and I will continue to do that. Listening to people, their ideas, their concerns, their thoughts in their own communities is very important. And of course, encouraging people to participate in community meetings such as they have, bring their thoughts, concerns forward so we can put them all together and I can share them with my team of MLAs so that we can act on it. To be successful, we must work together as a team on these priorities. As your Premier, I pledge to do my best for all Albertans. And I know from experience that as public servants, you too will do your best for Albertans. I love this province and its people. That love and pride have always been at the forefront of everything I do, and they always will be. I'll work hard to represent Alberta and to continue to earn your trust and respect. Working together to accomplish these objectives will help us realize our goals and will allow Albertans to measure our performance as a government. Together, we are proudly working for Alberta.